everyone. This is Sparkle. I'm with Davy Jags. Sparkle is your happiness, passion, and self-worth. But this is our Sparkle Sundays with my boyfriend, Thomas Paolini. Today, a lot of you asked, when I asked you on Instagram, like, what topics do you want to hear about Tom and I and our relationship? I'm not surprised, but a lot of you asked, how do you survive a long distance relationship? And today Tom and I are dressed for the beach because we are not doing long distance anymore. We both live in LA, thank goodness, but it was a long, long journey to get here. 3 years to be exact. So yeah, I think this is an important topic because I've done long distance before I've dated Tom, and it was hell on earth. And I wouldn't tell anyone to just sign up for long distance. And there's a lot of context and foundational stuff that I think, and Tom thinks as well, I would say, that made us be able to do this and led us to even really making this decision as a couple. So you ready for it, Tom? And the faster we get this done, the faster we go to the beach.
I'm ready.
Okay. He looks like a Venice bro. Every time he used to visit, he would walk around Venice and people look at him like he was some surfer dude. And example A right here. Don't look at me like that.
I can go back to long distance.
That was mean.
I meant more like if you're just going to pinhole me and say I just look like I'm supposed to be here.
Okay, well, anyways, it's not a bad thing. You fit in with the one with the ocean.
It fits in with me.
Okay. So, you want to tell the story about the first time that I was going to tell you, hey, we might have to be long distance for a hot second? We also didn't know that it was going to be 3 years. I had this opportunity to come to California for an internship after my master's program. And I had here's the thing. I was never going to move across the country if it wasn't for this company that I was interning with at the time. So Tom knew this was my dream company. Do you remember that day when I told you? It was also crazy how I even got that internship, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when it was exactly, I just remember you being very somber about it and being like, I have this thing, it's really great, but it's gonna be in California and it's with this thing, and you were just like, I just don't know how to feel about it, I don't even know what to say. And I was like, so you're going, right? Like, you have to go. Okay,
he's being modest. I was so nervous because, we were not doing distance already. He was living in our hometown in Pennsylvania, and I was doing my master's in New York. And so we kind of were hybrid, if you will, because I would go home for the weekends a lot because I was still helping my dad with the family businesses. And then he would come to New York a lot. So it's we would not see each other during the week, which is not really that big of a deal. And we are both used to driving all the time, back and forth to Jersey or New York from Pennsylvania. So I never really considered that long distance. But then when I got the news of oh, you're going to spend the summer at least in California, I was like, am I going to mess up my relationship again? I don't know why I was just always thinking that my relationships were always going to get screwed up. And I also had done long distance before, and it was one of the worst experiences of my life. And obviously that had more to do with the person than the actual distance. But I was so scared that I was going to be the girl that did choose her career over a guy, which, again, there's a lot of rhetoric that that's what you should do. But this was different because it's Tom and I. And I knew I wanted to spend my life with Tom. So I call him and I tell him, and I'm just I'm kind of melancholy. I'm not sad. I'm not happy. I'm a little bit of all of it. And he's like, oh my God, this is great. It's this. He's saying the company. And I'm like, okay, why are you acting more excited than me? Like, you remember?
Yeah, I I feel like it was a measured level of excitement. It was really cool because you would, read those books and watch the shows. You may just watch like the TV shows they produced, and you were like, I'm gonna get to work for this company that's like producing and making shows based around everything that you were getting a master's degree for. And I don't know, I didn't like think about like how I was going to react to it. That was just my reaction.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was just to that point where obviously we were very lucky you having the ability to travel, because your mom and stuff like that. So in my mind, like you being somewhere else, like wasn't really a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things, I guess, just played into it. But yeah, I was just excited for you. I didn't think like, oh no, like what are we gonna do now? You're gonna be over there.
Now we're watching The Summer I Turned Pretty, and Belly decided not to go to freaking Paris because Jeremiah. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Well, yeah, it was a preliminary decision, but either way, I wasn't over the moon, like in an excited way, like oh my gosh, I can't believe this is the greatest thing ever. I think I was just excited for you. I didn't think that deeply about the ramifications of what is it going to mean for us. Partially because we had been doing somewhat of a long distance at this point in time, or at that point in time. So to me, it was no different. It was like, okay, you're, a 2 hour drive away versus, a few hour flight. To me, it was like, oh, I guess okay. I don't know. I honestly, I didn't put that much thought into it. You think like it was some
I don't think that. I know
manifested thing that I had in my mind that I like thought about how to, or like it was a measured, like, cause you talk about the way I think about things. It was like a measured reaction by me.
No,
There was almost no thought involved. I was just happy for you.
No, I know that. Yeah, I felt that, and I think that's why I also felt safe in going, because I was like, again, we didn't know if I was going to be like fall in love with LA. Like I had lived away from home at that point. I went to school in Cincinnati, Ohio. Like I knew what it was like. I grew up traveling. Like I knew it was like to be away, but this was different. This was like, am I gonna go to LA and like want to stay here and build a life here? So one of my best friends was living in San Francisco at the time. I flew into San Francisco and then we drove down the coast. And I think that week when I drove down the coast is when I fell in love with California. I was like, I don't know what I've been doing with my life until now. And it was a very conflicted feeling. Well, I've told a couple people this, but I remember the first week that I told you, especially when I finally arrived in LA, because it's not that I don't like the Bay Area. My sister went to school there too. Like I had just gone there and I never was like, I want to move to California. It was like driving out of San Francisco and along all the beach towns and seeing the nature. But when I got to LA, it was a very spiritual, like, kind of recognition that, and I at the time wasn't like a very spiritual person. And I told you and a few close friends, I was like, I've lived here before. I've lived in LA before. Don't know how, don't know what lifetime, but I know I'm supposed to be here. It's weird now because I feel like now I'm like, all right, I'm more open-minded to the idea of going somewhere new and like building roots somewhere else. And like, I'm not as tied to LA as like when I first moved here, when I was like very much in the honeymoon phase. But I was like, hey, Tom, we have a problem. I'm not leaving this city. and I think our dynamic as far as like how to survive long distance, one of the dynamics that worked for us was the fact that it wasn't ever a fight of who was going to move for who. Would you say like that was kind of always the case?
Fight over who is going to move for the other person?
Yeah.
Well, in the young folk term, I didn't really have any motion at the time, so I wasn't moving anywhere. So wherever you were going to end up was probably where I was going to look to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, obviously there's a lot of stuff going on at home in terms of the businesses and stuff with your family that you wanted to be a part of, but you were always at arm's length. Like you never wanted to fully be involved, not to the extent that you didn't want to be a part of it. You just were like, I know I can't put my heart and soul into this stuff, because you had dreams to, you went and did your master's program. You had all these other creative endeavors you wanted to pursue. And I mean, I could see that. So I knew there was the potential for you to want to go somewhere, or at least not be where I was. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to be where I was.
I didn't. I literally thought you and I were going to settle down in Wyomissing, Pennsylvania for the rest of our lives.
I don't know why you say that. You might have.
I thought I wanted that.
Yeah, but every time you no. I know you say that, but like you're a person who like you're a bad liar.
I wasn't lying.
No. I'm saying, but you're a bad liar, as in you can't say something meaningfully and have it like in a truthful sense and not give a tell.
Huh?
Like like you were saying there was a part of you that knew that you like wanted to stay here in California.
After I arrived here, but before of that.
I can't allow you to even say that. I never once ever thought that you were going to be in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Well, good for you, Tom. That's not how I felt.
I don't think it was. I think you never wanted to fully leave it behind. I still
feel that way.
You struggled. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You struggled with the concept of moving away and distancing yourself from home, especially because so many of your friends and contemporaries and a lot of the people we grew up with were like, I just want to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. And I did get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I know, but we had many conversations, many late night conversations. Like, I don't feel the same way. Like, I still enjoy my roots here. I still like coming here. There's a part, you would say there's a part of me that wants to also like raise a family here and all these other things.
Yes, there is a large part of me that still wants that.
But the whole structure that's built on is the fact that I got to get out of here first. Okay. I'm not building a family right now.
But you forget
I'm
that
chasing
I
things
did
in
do
my
that.
career.
I did go to college.
College doesn't count.
Okay. Well, in my mind, at the time, Tom, it counted. And for the first 2 years of our relationship, I did want that. And I meant that sincerely. And I believe that I wanted it at that moment of time.
And I would say
and then I did my master's, and I remembered what it was like to, I guess, want something. I wanted something. I think I reignited my own fire around my career. Those first 2 to 3 years that we were dating, I was so burnt out from school and the trauma that I experienced in school that it was nice to just work and have a healthy relationship. And that felt really fulfilling until it didn't.
Yeah, the world was shut down for a year and a half.
Okay, well, that also happened.
That's why I'm trying to say, like, there was never any amount of, once this is over, I'm just going to be here. I could see it. I think everybody else could see it.
Okay, well, that's not what this topic was about. So, little birdie flew across the country. Let's start there. No,
I'm saying you might act like it was a shock or like that I wasn't.
It was a shock for me.
I understand. Anybody who knew you, like me, in a very deep, meaningful way, I was aware of the fact that I was going to be moving at some point. And
Okay.
I have a much different relationship with
Okay,
home.
but
I've
like
never lived
why?
anywhere else.
Okay, so then why do you feel like at least you were like I'm open to going where she goes? Because I think there's a certain like negative stigma for either or. Like it doesn't matter. Like I just feel like if you're the person moving for someone else, that group of friends will say you shouldn't be moving for someone. And and then some people more take like a traditionalist approach of like, well, the girl shouldn't move for a guy. And like all those things. Like what and then I don't know, did
Guys
anyone
shouldn't.
ever like feel like it was weird for you moving for me? Like,
You said that backwards. A guy should move for a girl.
well, no, I also meant it the other way too.
Yeah, but that's not traditional.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Men don't move for women traditionally.
Right.
Women follow their men wherever they
Yes.
go. Yes.
But now in this day and age, women are being like, don't move for your man.
Yeah, but
Okay, you know what I mean. Whatever, that's not the point. You know what I'm trying to say.
it's not traditional yet.
Okay.
The framing. No, I don't think there's like a specific reason as to why I think it worked out for us, other than the fact that I mean we just had built such a good relationship with each other. It wasn't a big deal.
You said that really convincingly.
Yeah.
No. I'm just messing with you.
Okay. That was completely derailed the conversation. I don't understand what you're saying. Do we not have a good relationship?
No,
though?
you said it. You're like this. I'm gonna reenact it. We had just a really good relationship.
I'm trying to build to a point here to say
I know. I'm just messing with you.
get it together. All right?
Okay.
Trying to be serious on the pod.
Okay.
So I can't point to a specific thing that was like, this is how I knew it was healthy or it was good for me to follow you, anything like that. Any outside pressure that was coming in saying you should move for this person or it's not healthy or is that really what you want to do? I genuinely feel as though people, they struggle to see people in a partnership and they just view them individually. And in our instance, we didn't have a lot of pressure of people saying, oh, it's, like I had a whole lot going on and like I shouldn't throw away like what I'm doing to try and follow you. Or in your instance, it wasn't like, oh, if you leave, like Tom will just dump you or something like that.
What are you talking about? My grandmother, every chance she got, said I was a terrible person for leaving you.
She's one of one.
She said, what you're doing is not right to Tom.
Yeah. Traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah. That other than.
You're not being a good girl.
Yes.
That's how she would put it.
But we've said this before. We're not the blueprint. We don't have the answers. What is the thing that makes a relationship able to work from a long distance point of view? It's a foundational element that just says I love and I care about somebody more than the distance in between us.
Yeah, but okay, so I think where like at least I know we both struggled with it, but where I struggled the most was like our foundation was so built on all the little things that we had, cooking together, going to the grocery store together. Like one of our favorite things to do is to go to the grocery store together. Obviously the typical stuff, sleeping next to one another. But it was, I think it was the routine too. But, all the stuff what we would like on Sundays, we typically try to go on like long walks. We'll go for hours. And that is the core and the essence of our entire relationship. And all of that was stripped away. And that was our like safety. And at least I know I had to do this whole like relearning of like what it means to like live independently. And I guess, even if you have that foundation, your nervous system actually goes through a shock. But I don't know if actual long distance is healthy if you don't have that foundation, because I think it would lead to more worry and anxiety, because all long distance relationships in some sort of essence are living for the hope of it all. Like, wow, that was such a Taylor Swift line. Okay, but genuinely, like, it's the hope that one day we'll be together, the hope that we will be able to be in the same place, the hope that we'll one day get married, the hope that like long distance will end. A lot of people don't set timelines. A lot of people maybe start a long distance relationship right when they've started dating. I've done it. It's insanity. I think it's bullshit, because you're hanging on to this potential idea of a relationship. Probably yes, because you do love, and you love the person, and you love what you could have with them, but you've never had it. Like, we had it. And so I mean, at least from my view, like, one of the reasons I felt like we could do it was because of that foundation. What do you like? Can you do it without the foundation? I have no idea.
So I think you could just as much say that's bullshit what you just said.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm not saying that from any level of experience at all. It's just the nature of a relationship. What makes it work? What doesn't make it work? If you're gonna start a relationship that's long distance, whatever, think about people that have like online relationships and carry out years, months long relationship. They've never met somebody.
I guess, yeah, I mean, that's true. I guess it's also depending on like what you need and what you want in a relationship.
Now, and I said this to you many times because prospectively, I think this is really important when living apart. Take all the times you would call me upset about something. Or
like
something
about us or in general?
Well, oftentimes it wouldn't be about us.
Right. Okay. I was just clarifying.
Well, okay. The volume of that would be just something is amiss.
Mm-hmm.
The only way I could really approach it was to say, when you would then bring, because you would almost, for you, it was hard to recognize what was like you just wanted comfort on some level. And I wasn't there physically to comfort you, but and I had to remind you that even if I was there, the problem would still be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really tough to contend with the idea, like, well, it is important just to be able to like hug, get a hug or just encouragement or like whatever, or, maybe have somebody cook you a meal or anything like that. Like, those are really important things, I think, in a relationship. Just like you said, the small, like the minutia of an everyday life with somebody that you want to spend your time with. But being independent is just as important as being codependent on somebody else.
Yeah.
In a relationship. Like, your independence matters just as much. And you learned, I think I had more of an independence because I could very easily shut myself off. I could fall into work. I could just, preoccupy myself with a number of different things. Whereas your brain is so
Are you calling me
go,
needy?
go. What?
Are you calling me needy?
No. I'm saying your brain is so much more active than mine on a baseline that you can be doing all those things independently and still be like, well, I wish Tom was here. Well, it'd be nice if Tom was here. And that was something that we had to communicate through a lot, because for me, it was a disconnect where you're like, how do you not feel the same way that I feel like when we're apart? And being open and honest about it is, communication. Communication is always the key to all these things.
Yeah.
It'll come up again and again. But truly, if you can't be honest about how you're feeling, then it's not going to matter. If you just be like, oh, no, I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I had a good day. I don't want to talk about it. Stuff like that. When you're not seeing each other, you have no gauge of whether or not that's honest or true. That's going to build resentment. And we struggled a lot with, like, you telling me like, I feel like I'm resenting this relationship. I feel like I'm not seeing enough effort out of you. And because, and we've said this before, I think the number one issue with any long distance relationship, be it a friendship, or a relationship with an intimate partner or just family, whatever it is, visibility matters. If you can't see something, it's really hard to convince yourself that it's happening.
Well, yeah, because you sometimes it would like we realized honestly only towards the end that it's weird. I used to use FaceTime all the time, even in my other long distance relationships, and then just like with friends. But for Tom and I, it's not like we both have iPhones. We would always we didn't actually FaceTime all the time. We would talk on the phone. Maybe it was because we were, I don't know, it was a comfortability. Like I actually like don't ever understand why, but then it became to the realization just like I was like, I would feel myself reset a little bit when Tom and I did choose to FaceTime. Because like sometimes we would be like on the phone and then we'd be like, oh, like let me show you something, and we'd switch to FaceTime. And I remember feeling better. And one of the things that I think was the biggest kind of thing that shook my nervous system when we first became apart was our foundation was very rooted in body language. So like Tom, and he knows this, like sometimes like when he is sarcastic, he says it so in such a monotone way that like I still think after 6.5 years, I'm still learning. Like, are you being sarcastic? Are you not? Like I usually can pick up on it now, but like if we're in a group of new people, I'll like he'll be more aware of it so that he can even like say that he's being sarcastic, because sometimes like people aren't sure.
I don't do that.
You have to
No.
know. Yes, you have. I've watched you do it. Are you being? You're so annoying. Is this the whole like Sunny in Philadelphia thing? I'm acting. No, that was acting. Are you doing that right now?
No.
Okay.
I was lying the whole time. No. No, I think you every time you're confused whether or not I was being sarcastic. Every single time I was being sarcastic.
Right. Okay.
So you weren't actually confused. I don't know, for whatever reason, I think you look at me as sort of like you might infantilize me a little bit. So when I'm with
my
other people
God.
and I say something, you're like, oh no, don't worry. He's precious child. Don't get mad at him. He's kidding.
I'm going to go back to my original point. So the original point was the body language is actually a big part of the way that him and I communicated. Like even if we weren't talking, it was, we'll be driving the car, silence, but like one of us will reach for each other's hands. And it's like, there's so many ways in which when you're in an intimate relationship that two people talk with one another. That was gone. And so FaceTime was one of those things that we needed to start utilizing, especially when I was reaching like the point of like, I can't stand long distance anymore. This is the worst thing ever. Like we were only on FaceTime. Sounds so simple, but that's the truth. And then, I mean, we were very, very fortunate enough that we saw each other once a month. That made a big difference. Whether it didn't mean that we were always in California or Pennsylvania. Like sometimes we meet in the middle somewhere because of a wedding or something.
It was just weekends and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I remember when one of our other colleagues, like in the beginning said, you have to have an end date or you always have to have an estimate plan of the next time you're going to see someone. Remember, like we didn't always know. And those were the weeks or the months that like either felt like the longest or probably when we argued the most was because we didn't set a date. Like when we had dates set, everything was better.
I guess. For me, the only issue I found with that was that you were so variable and spontaneous that we'd have something planned and you'd be like, oh wait, like you'd constantly be trying to shift it or change it around, which didn't work well for me. So that was just something we had to talk through.
When did I try to change it around?
You would always just be like, oh, can you come a week earlier? Can you come a day earlier? Can you leave a day late? Like you were always changing the parameters of it, which was difficult for me because I was like I was trying to be as like strictly scheduled as possible to accommodate all these things. Whereas like you're more of like whatever. But again, it was just something we had to talk through in order to make it work.
Tom always made it work. That's another thing. If your partner is spontaneous, maybe you should just be like Tom.
No, and I don't like to credit myself because I think you put up with a lot from me, obviously.
Thanks for that recognition. I appreciate it.
But I also think that, you know, being willing to allow someone or give them grace when in a long distance relationship is really important, because when you don't get to see each other all the time, you have to sort of take a step back and remind yourself, okay, I don't see what they're doing every day. Even if I'm talking to them, there's things that go by that I'm unaware of. And I can't necessarily judge them to the extent of all the information I have, because that's not all the information that I need or that I can, you know, effectively make a decision on how to feel. So giving the person the ability to, you know, actually put in the effort when you are together is really important. So obviously we struggled with that at times when we would finally get to meet up with each other and there'd be some level of tension or frustration and we'd have to like warm up to each other again.
Yeah, it would take us days to warm up to each other.
We'd have to talk about it, and I'd have to remind you that it's okay and it's normal.
Well,
and you would also try to push me to be like, let's not dwell on it and try to fix it. Let's just keep doing things. You know, let's try and get, you know, settle into a routine.
Well, sometimes it wouldn't even just be the resentment and tension that had been lingering. Sometimes it would actually just be like, we would forget, like, remember the one time I came home to Pennsylvania and I was like, I feel like I don't recognize you anymore. And not in a dramatic way of like, oh, I don't recognize who you are. Like, it was like Tom felt like this friend I haven't seen in a while. And I lost it. I broke down. I said, this is the end of our relationship. Like, you should feel like home. And it wasn't that you didn't feel like home. You just didn't, I didn't know what you felt like. And it was horrible, but it was essentially like, I guess it was the expectation, I think, that we put on each other, like on our partners, that like the love of your life or the person that you want to spend your life with is always going to feel like your favorite teddy bear. And you are my favorite well, I have a favorite bunny. You're not, but you won't replace Bunny, but you are my favorite teddy bear, Thomas. But I think that expectation is probably actually more detrimental, especially to people in long distance relationships, because if you haven't seen someone in so long or whatever, like obviously you're going to want to hop into bed with them. That's not the same thing, but the difference is to be intimate with someone, to have that, like going to the grocery store, to have that, like, oh, like let's stay up all night, like telling each other like things that no one else wants to hear. Like, that takes a minute to warm back up to, no matter what.
Yeah, I also, you know, I just made you some grilled cheese sandwiches, and that helped.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Now, one of the things that I think that probably a lot of couples struggle with, that I can't say that we really did, but what if you're in a long distance relationship and you worry about the other one cheating the entire time?
There's not really anything you can do about that, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you're worried about your partner cheating, that's a you problem. Now, if your partner has cheated on you and you're traumatized,
is it a you problem? Like, what if the partner is making you feel like they're gonna cheat?
Well, that I'm saying, then you need to talk. You need to be able to communicate with them about that. Hey, I don't feel comfortable with this stuff. Now, there's a fine line between, and I think this is what I'm saying, it's a you problem. Say it's a guy, or the guy in the relationship is struggling with the idea that his girlfriend is going out with, it might be interacting with other people. I think there's probably some level of trauma or just past experience there that is informing that feeling, and the actual relationship isn't going to be the place where it gets solved. That's I need to go talk to somebody. If it's just some basic talk therapy, if it's just a help group for like whatever, or if it's just, putting your time into something else, or like putting that energy into working on yourself, something like that. I think that's a big part of it. And I know obviously we didn't struggle with that because we were able to communicate it like, hey, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm doing. But we also never had, we were very open and honest with each other about, our feelings towards cheating and where our boundaries were in terms of, what we're comfortable each other doing when we're not around.
But do you remember that mental breakdown I had though? I forget what year it was as far as how long we were into long distance, but like, do you remember that mental breakdown I had where I was like, I don't feel like sexy or wanted or anything anymore because like I have nobody to like flirt with. And it was nice being able to like, obviously like I don't go out to bars to flirt with people or like be flirted with. Like I go out to bars because I'm with my friends, but like when it happens, it feels nice. And you remember like how I was like, I'm a flirty person just probably from a baseline because I'm outgoing, I'm loud, and I'm friendly, and people take that for flirting. And so that puts me in that category. But do you remember where I was like crying because I was like, I don't get to flirt? Like, and you were like, yeah, because like I haven't given you attention this month. Like you were like up to your neck with like school and work and like family shit. And I just remember like feeling like before I obviously broke down to you all about this, I remember feeling so guilty. And then like, do you remember like, what was your side of that?
So, I don't want to be like I didn't care.
Why do you always go there? You're always like, I don't care.
I don't, because it's like, again, like you're going to go out, you're going to go do stuff. Like I get it's the most human thing in the world to like want
yeah, but you can't
crave interaction and stuff like that.
Flirt. Like that's not.
I didn't tell you to go. I didn't tell you to go out and flirt. I said to go out and just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Go have a good time. If somebody's gonna like try talking to you, that doesn't mean like you entertain the flirting. It just means like you don't have to be like, if some guy's like, oh hey, blah blah blah, I'd be like, get away from me, I have a boyfriend.
Right. But what your point was, like, I think what made me feel comfortable in that feeling was, yes, Davey, it's very human to want attention and want to be desired, like is how you put it. And then like a week later, we like had great sex and it was awesome. But don't make that face.
See, like I feel like I don't remember that part of it.
What the fuck are you talking about? We were in St. Kitts.
Oh. Oh yeah, that was a good time. I was in Island.
Oh, guys, Tom in Island mode is the most like laid back, carefree, like drinks pina coladas with me and is like full blown golden retriever energy. And my family loves it. What is it?
Vodka Ting.
Oh, vodka ting. Yeah, that's the Island drink. Ting soda and vodka. It's really good. Now you're thinking about vodka ting, aren't you?
No, I was thinking about Dr. Peppers.
Oh, those are good. What are they? The Corona.
I'll put everybody on. So you get a Corona. And a shot of Di Serono. And you can get the lime too. I mean, why not? But you usually take a sip out of the Corona, like down to the neck. And then you pour the shot of Di Serono in. Yeah. And then you like, if you put the lime in, but you do the thumb action, flip it. And the flavor profile it has to be Di Serono because other amarettos don't really work that well. But the carbonation of the beer, it tastes like Dr. Pepper soda.
Yeah, it is actually crazy. And it definitely made us very flirty and fun. Shout out to our St. Kitts friends who put us onto that.
Bar on them.
You did.
Shipwreck bar.
You did. Well, anyways, we've had our great adventure. I mean, that's the other thing, though. There was a lot of, like, every time we would come together, it would always be big and grand. And I think that would exhaust us to a point. Like, we missed the doing nothingness more than anything, I think, in our long distance. And I was guilty of it. I would jam pack all these activities just because I missed doing activities. But you pointed that out, remember? Can we just do nothing together?
Yeah, sometimes that's nice.
Sometimes that is exactly what a relationship needs.
Yes.
It's hard with long distance, though, to do that.
It never gets, it's not that it's easy. It's always going to be hard. It's just, it's how you effectively communicate the hardships and how you roll with the punches of everything. There isn't this is the number one thing you can do. It's just, you got to actually like the person enough.
Yeah, that's important.
And then everything else is sort of just, it's like going to the gym. It's like, it's a muscle. The more you work it out, the easier it gets. But if you keep going to the gym, eventually, you're going to plateau and you're going to have to push yourself harder. So the longer a long distance relationship carries on, you'll get where it's easy. It's going to get hard again. It'll get easy. You'll get hard again. So if you don't have to do it for that long, I'd recommend not doing it for that long. But it's possible as long as you're willing to, sacrifice where you need to and be open and honest about as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, I like you, Tom. Will you go to the beach with me now?
No.
What?
Because we need to plug America's Favorite Couple. So
okay.
At this point in time, we are in the finals of the group final settings. However, I believe because we filmed 2 episodes of this, so by the time this episode comes out, we need to have been in first place in the groups to make the finalist round.
Yes.
So we made the top 5. We're in the top 5. Only the number 1 couple in all the groups from the top 5 advances, and then those are the finalists. So by the time this comes out, we would have need to have been that number 1, and then we should be in the finalists and moving towards, the actual finals. So we are in basically, the quarterfinal round here.
Everyone vote for us for America's Favorite Couple.
We need
even
to
though
win.
we're a little chaotic. We need to win. We need to win. Look at Tom's face.
It would be great for the pod.
It'd be great for the pod. It'd be great for the sparkle movement. What it means to shine together, even if it involves some bickering and some pina coladas and vodka ting and all the things. All right. Sparkle on, everyone.
Sparkle on.